Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live Sessions. Today is really special because we have Xander Corbett coming back on the show. And he has been on the show, I don't know how many times at this point, and was one of the very first people, like I mentioned on the post, like one of the very first people that I got to interview in 2019. And so it's kind of cool having you come back like 6 years later and having had like, more music and more albums. And, from then it was kind of crazy to see the growth with you, to now. So how are you feeling since like that interview to now?
Honestly, pretty accomplished because at the time it came in waves, I feel, because at the time that we had first met in the first interview we did, I was like at a career high at the age of 17 that
Yeah.
I don't know if I was really ready for at the time. I definitely
Yeah.
was not ready to be put in those positions. I was very glad to do our interview though. I had a lot of fun with that. That was one of the highlights of that year. But I feel like it came in waves in the sense that like when I was 17, I had this huge like the Breathe album did so massively well that I was trying to ride this high of that.
Yeah.
And over the course of the pandemic, I had to like kind of reinvent myself because it kind of wasn't working out for me as much by the time I
Yeah.
made like my third rounds of an attempt at making another Breathe album. And eventually I just fully metamorphosized, and I
Yeah.
feel like by the time I dropped the Red album, which 5 years to the date after Breathe, I just celebrated 1 year of that yesterday. I feel
Yeah.
like that gave me the confidence to kind of quickly crank out another album that's completely new and completely different, and it's like nothing I've ever made before.
Yeah. I mean, that album really, if you guys don't know, I did like in preparation for this, I did like an overview of that. And it's on our YouTube. You can find it on our YouTube. And I just went through like every song and critiqued it a little bit. But I have to say I think I said it on there too that like your writing has exponentially changed. Like how you write and how you've been able to express how you feel. And not that that album wasn't great, that or Breathe, I mean, wasn't great. It was fantastic. But also, if you look at the two in a 5 year span, like it's different person, different writing, and you've grown in this writing. You know,
Mhm.
there's more like imagery, and there's the musicality is different, and you kind of almost have a little bit of a different sound, and so
Mhm.
it's like seeing the growth to this year has been awesome, and I it's kind of cool that you kind of can see that too, because you're definitely like I think you're very harsh on yourself when it comes to music, and so it's why it takes so many times.
Oh yeah. And like
So
even when I was dropping the Red album, like I was like, what if this isn't as good as I think it is? Like I was in my mind the night that it was releasing, I was like trembling the second that it hit 9 o'clock and I knew it was out and the public could perceive it, because I was like, what if I built this whole perception of the album in my head
yeah,
that it's just not? And in my mind, it's such a good album, but then other people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, oh, like he still sounds like he's 17. I didn't want to be the one that's forever stuck in my
yeah,
teenage years, but I feel
yeah,
like retrospectively looking back at it a year later, I just listened to the album in my car the other day and I was like, okay, listen, the transition from intro to If You Want Something Done Right, 17-year-old Xander could never
yeah,
ever do that. He did not have the brain power to make that happen for himself.
that is
And
true.
21-year-old Xander did. And so that's helped me a lot. Just that transition alone is
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
definitely the production is different, right? Like if
Mhm.
you did very well in 2022, like as far as recording and stuff like that, but I think you've kind of learned the ins and outs of it and can make it better. So the knowledge that you've put behind this album, I think just enhanced it exponentially, and I think
Mhm.
that's the coolest thing about it is that's where that growth comes from, of you hearing what you want to display and then being able to execute that, rather than
Mhm.
back then it was like, I know what I hear, but how do I make that happen here, you know? And
Yeah,
sitting in front of a board, you know? And so it's, I think that's where um, your your music has kind of changed in the way that I mean, you still write about the same kind of themes, and but they're more adult themes now, you know, like mid-20s themes than like 17 themes, you know, where it's like,
yeah.
you know, fluff really. And so um I feel like uh there's a different way of you going about this album. So, you know, in the preparation of making it, like how did you decide what songs were going to go on it? And did you like sit and write songs about it, like, or for it, or what was the kind of process there?
Well, it kind of that was a difficult one because some of the songs, kind of like Intro and Moonlight and Garden Home, even those were written way earlier in the process. I think I wrote, yeah, during our first interview in 2019, I just got done writing, and I told you this line, and when I told you that, that was literally all I had written in my notes was for Wild World. It was nothing stays the same, change is a thing we should embrace. And I
Yes.
spent the next 7 months attempting to figure out how I can finalize that lyric and make that more than it already is, make it more than just a one
Yeah.
liner on a page.
Yeah.
And I think
Remember
it
that.
was like May of 2020. So this is pandemic times.
Yeah.
I revisited it and I cranked it out like that. Like within the hour I had the entirety of Wild World written out.
Yeah.
And a lot of this album kind of came to me in that way where like Intro was written as a completely different song for what was supposed to be a completely different album like a week after I dropped Breathe. I
Mm.
have been sitting on a lot of these songs and just revising them, and I think that's a lot of the difference is between my first two albums, there was a 5.5 month gap. I had very quickly spit
Yeah.
Breathe out. Whereas the Red album, I didn't feel as much rush to get something done, but rather to make something new. And I wanted to make it more meaningful and more personal. And so like the sounds of my car, which by the way, that is my actual car starting up in the beginning of the
Oh,
album.
really? Oh, that's
Those
so cool.
yeah, and like I have the car stopping at the beginning of
Yeah.
Eleanor. There's birds chirping that I took on my actual hikes at the place that I regularly hike because I know
Yeah.
like a lot of my fans don't live in the area. I thought if I can't bring everybody to this one spot that I hike, and I can't have all of you fit into my car at the same time, I will give you guys an album that will take you to these places in a whole different way. And I will, because that was the whole thought process behind the Red album was I wanted to have like two sides, where one side we're driving, we're in the car, we're on our way to a hike. And this
Yeah.
is the kind of music that plays when I'm, in my car. It's a lot of like I had a lot of Billy Idol inspiration and Harry Styles
Ah,
inspiration for Moonlight and like blinking in my bedroom. I took notes from Shania Twain's The Woman in Me album, and I had
mhm.
so many different like layers to the just the overall production value and all of
Yeah.
the inspiration that went into it, where these are the songs that I listen to in my car. And
Yeah.
then I get the more earthy tones and the acoustic folky vibes of the B side of the Red album, which starts with Eleanor, ends with Garden Home. And it's like that's where we're on this hike and we're having the deeper conversations. We're talking about things that you usually wouldn't get out of me on the
Yeah.
internet. And you have to either listen to me yap for hours or you have to listen to an album. That's the only way
You're
you're
right.
gonna get
You're right.
it.
So did you feel like you wanted to be like more vulnerable in this album? Like, did that become something that you wanted to kind of carry through the whole thing?
Absolutely. I wanted it to be much less like Breathe, I wanted people to resonate with it in a more generalized area, whereas it could kind of fit any vibe. It could fit any life event. Whereas the Red album, I was just more from very personal experiences. I was writing from anger like I never have before. I was writing from depression like I never have before, anxiety, abandonment issues speaks for itself, I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
um, I
Yeah.
wrote from these places that I don't usually write from so that I can kind of rather than deliver an album to people, I can bring people in and
Mhm.
like invite them for coffee in my house pretty much.
Yeah. Did you find the reception of that album with that goal in mind, did that happen? Do you feel like it happened?
Yeah, in a way that I wasn't expecting. I think it was like hour 3 of the album being out, so it's 12 a.m. on September 13th, 2024 to paint you the picture. I looked at my Spotify for artists and I saw that there was 107,000 streams on the album already. And I was like, okay,
In 3
well,
hours?
in 3 hours.
Fucking hell.
I was
Jesus.
like, all right. I was like, everyone, I don't know
Yeah.
how you found me. I'm very glad that you're here. Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, wow, that's an accomplishment. Like, especially that quick of a turnaround. Like, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Holy moly. And that's where I think that's where, you've always kind of been kind of timid when it comes to releasing things and this like, is it gonna do okay? Is it not? Like, should I do it? Should I not? And it all I mean, you just kill it every time. And I feel like, that should give you even more confidence of like, okay, what I'm doing, people resonate with. Though that album, I think, resonated with a lot more people because it's an older version of you, right?
yeah,
It's concepts that are ring true of 20 somethings, and
yeah.
some of them even I'm 20 years older than you, and some of them I even were like, oh yeah, I know how that feels, like we've all been there, so it's
We
like,
sure have.
yeah, and so I feel like there's this different way for you of people being able to be like, now I can connect with you, now I feel like I have a more intimate connection with the music because you're singing something that resonates or I've been through or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
so, I think that's great, and it's well deserved because I think it's a long time coming because you are a very fantastic writer. And if you don't know, me and Xander did a song together. Well, we've done a couple of them, but we did a song together and released it in 2020. And I shit you all not, I came with the words, and Xander was like, "Got it," and I was like, "Okay, that was a day. All right," and that's
Within
just
the
like,
hour.
yeah, within an hour. It was ridiculous. And then we went to our mutual friend's house who ended up singing the song that we did in 2020 called Place.
Yeah.
And Second Place. And the girl that had sang that, Megs McLean, she and Xander and I sat down for I don't know a day and we wrote like three other songs. So like I feel like if you don't know his writing, it's crazy because this kid is you're just so like you're not a kid anymore. That was bad. I'm sorry. You are just so good at writing, and it is very evident from the first time I met you to now that it is very much something that you are more than capable of doing and showing people you can do. And so, I think I hope that, going into this next phase in writing and this new era of you, that
Mhm.
you can see that people appreciate what you write about and care about it and care about you and want to connect with you, you know?
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, no, I
um,
feel like the big difference between like going into the Breathe and the Red album too is like Breathe was more for the sonic value of it. I wanted to, because I mean, Stitches was a cute folk album. I
yeah,
had I
yeah.
had some moments of really good writing. Other moments I was definitely 14, 15, 16. That
Yeah,
was that was also just that was a moment in time, but then Breathe was more for the sonic value of it all. I wanted to make a pop record, which I kind of gave up in the middle of and still made it more folk
yeah,
anyway. I went right back home. And
yeah,
then the Red album, I wanted to hone in on songwriting because I spent so long between the pandemic and all my mental health complications over the past couple of years. I've just been like honing in on the songwriting value of it all rather
mhm.
than putting myself out there and trying to make pop music. I was like, I'm gonna make music that feels like a big warm hug when you're done with it, but you also feel like you might have gotten kicked in the teeth.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. And it's interesting because you vary that though. Like there's such like a ride on that album. Y- and so many Like I said it in the when I was reviewing it, but like I'm lucky enough that I know Xander, as a friend, as a good friend in this whole thing. And so I got to hear a couple of the songs ahead of the album coming out, and like I, I even then it was a couple years before, I think, before it actually came out.
Oh yeah.
And oh my god, I was like, what the hell?
I
This
remember
is
you were
amazing.
I
Like,
remember you were the first person that I sent the first demo of Wild World, and I just remember you
yes,
being like, I still have this screenshot of the message somewhere where you were like, "This is what you were meant to do," and I
yeah,
remember I took
yeah,
that to heart because leaving the studio and like that was the first time I'd worked with anyone else on my music. That was the only song I've had someone produce for me and
yeah,
like help out on the production. I left the studio that day and I listened back to the demo in my car and I was like, this really is it. Like this is so different from anything I've done thus far, but it
yeah,
feels like home for me. It feels so comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm reaching for anything in particular. Whereas even when I was putting out Breathe, I loved the songs, but I felt like some of them I was like, I'm reaching for something that isn't quite me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's where I think that the Red Album, I think that's where you like grew. You grew as a human and you grew as a person. And um I think, it to me, and only because I have the perspective, but it's almost like you said, okay, like here I am, like this is it. And I know that's been like a mental health thing too, like you and I both have that. But now I think you're really kind of honing in on like, yes, like I am actually good at this. Like this is something I can do. And I think that that is what made that album so fucking fantastic, because it was
Mhm.
like you went, "All right, let's do this."
Whether
Like,
you like it or not, this
yeah,
is me. And
this is
it's
who I am.
loud.
And if you don't fucking like it, I don't fucking care, And that's the difference. It's where you came into some confidence, into some self-love, into some like really honing in and being like, all right, I'm just going to do it. Like, this is for me at this point. I'm just going to do it. And you're going
Mhm.
to come along for the ride, literally with a car sound in it. Like, like it's just, I feel like it just totally flipped the script. You got higher notes, which is something that I fucking love you doing. And if you don't know, oh my God, is it called, what's it called, Xander? Light? What's your
Li-
song?
Light is coming.
Light is coming. Thank you. There's too many, okay?
I
And so
and too many L names at that. There's
yeah,
light is coming.
yeah,
There's a
there's
lot.
so many. So that I remember in, I don't know, whenever you did the more theater thing, and I remember thinking, this kid can go high and he's not even doing it. Like, what the hell? And then this one, you definitely, I mean, you
Every
hit
song.
some every song. It was like, fuck yeah. Like there's the Xander I saw 10 years ago, like it wasn't really that long, but what it felt like, I was like, damn, finally, And so it's just refreshing to be on the other side of this, and seeing you grow, and being able to be sort of a part of it, and this like really cool journey and to this point, because it's you just are doing so good, and it's your music has gotten so much better, and I love it. And some of
Thank
those
you.
songs I said on that review, I was like, this is my jam, like I listen to it daily. Like
I remember waking up and getting ready for work while watching that video, and I was just gushing the whole time, sending the link to my friends. I'm like, guys, I'm like, she said, "Wow, what's your jam? Everyone, Wow, what's your jam? Let's go!"
but it was my jam from back then too, like I was like,
Oh yeah,
come on, I need this song, bro. I'm only got
you
the
wa-
demo.
you watched me plant the seed, and you watched it grow in real time. That's
Yeah,
that's the thing about
exactly.
you and Wild World. I sent you all the demos as it went on,
Yeah,
as it progressed, and then it finally
yeah.
dropped, and you're like, "I've been waiting for this moment. It's been 2 years in the making."
Yeah, and that was really what it was. And then Moonlight, that no, hey, my silly dog. Um, Moonlight, I that's probably my second favorite on that album. Like
My sweet
that
baby
song
Moonlight.
is so good. And just this like like a reinvention of you, and so real. And I just love the musicality and the lyrics, and just like it is that's the one that really solidified for me, other than, well, other than that one. But
Mhm.
that one really took a whole new uh direction for me with that album, because I was like, dude, you're finally just like, it's like this little flower, and I was like, I could feel it, I could see it, like,
Yeah, and Moonlight's the one that, like, I think that one took me about 3 full years to make because I started that one
yeah,
again around the time I dropped Breathe. It was like a piano ballad, and it was
yeah,
the verses were completely different. The only thing that stayed the same between all of the various demos that I have is the chorus. That was the one solid part of the song, and then I feel like at one point I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna put a dance beat over it. I'm gonna try to
yeah,
make this as fun as possible for anyone."
mhm,
And it's like I think it's the shortest song on the Red album, but it's
yeah,
the one that packs the most heat because I don't
yeah,
stop. I don't quit
yeah,
on that song. It just goes
yeah.
and goes.
And it's the dance, and that's where, like, you experimented too. That's a good point. Where, like, that was where I was like, okay, you're really trying to experiment with music and play with it and be creative and go outside this little box that I think you had yourself in for a little while. And
Mhm.
and um it was that song really just solidified to me, like, now we're in this new awesome era of, like, you just fucking going. Like, it's just, 80 miles an hour, and I love it. Like, that's where
Mhm.
I could see all that time ago. And um where that first one, it was like, the first time we met, I was like, man, this kid's gonna pop off, and I don't know if I'm gonna be ready for it. Like, so it's just so cool to see it and to be a part of your journey, and to be able to have the show long enough for you to come back and share now, and see the difference and the growth. It's cool.
No, but it's always an honor to be here, truly. Every single time I've come here, it's been nothing but laughs. It's been such good vibes the whole time. All 6 years that I've been here now. It's
Yes.
truly been an honor, and, like, watching the show grow, seeing who comes on, who comes back over time. It's been super cool to just see you build your own community, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I
Of
appreciate
course.
that. Well, I'm glad you're a part of it. Xander also was if you guys don't know, he was one of when we first did the showcases, Xander was the first person to perform in it, as well as one of the first four that ever was in it. And I was excited because I felt like he wasn't getting enough people letting him play. And I was like, dude, come and play. Like, you can come to this one. It's all ages. Let's go. And so, when we say 6 years, it has been a ride. I mean, he literally, over the summer in 2020, I had so many people that, like, he was trying to help me do interviews. And so it's this cool, relationship of being able to just mutually grow in both of our crafts and what we're doing. And so, that's what I mean by, like, it's just so cool to see, because it's like there's very few people that were there in the beginning that are there now. And these many years later, And so, if you get a chance to see any of the other interviews or anything that Xander's done on this show, I literally have a little tab on our YouTube that is just him and has all of his performances and all of his interviews and things. So,
I did not know that.
really?
I'm gonna binge watch my own interviews later. What the hell?
That's
No, but
amazing.
also that first local music scene showcase, I love telling people the story of that because it is the only show that I can say I performed in a fucking movie theater. That's so, like, that still to this day is so cool. I remember hearing North Bend Theater when you dropped it to me, and I was like, I didn't know they had a theater up there, and it
Yeah,
was quite literally a movie theater. And I love telling people about it solely for the fact that I can say I performed at a movie theater in North Bend,
yeah,
Washington. That is sickening.
yeah. It's so
That
cool. I
is
thought that was so cool too. It was probably my favorite. Like, I've done all of the like major Seattle theaters, Seattle venues, with the exception of Tractor and Sunset, but and Neptune. But those are on a different scale of performances and people. But as far as like local venues, I was like, I gotta bring something that's like homey and like intimate. And that first show really did like everybody came out to really support everybody, including myself. And it was so cool to see like well, and you had broke your hand or your finger
Yeah,
or
I had a broken
something.
finger, so I had to call in Ethan Bovey to play guitar for me, which
Yeah.
that was so awkward for me because I'm always the one behind the guitar.
Yeah.
I'm never not behind a guitar, so I was just standing there and I'm like, what the fuck do I do with my hands?
Yeah, right? It was so great. It was so great. And the response of your friends coming, that was so much fun. And like that first one is very memorable for me too, because it was just a lot of time and effort put in for something that I thought we all really, grew in that moment, and I also like the fact that you were kind of with some veteran people, like Chris and Cam and Katie, who like have been doing music for at least I think 5 or 6 or 10 years up to that point,
Yeah.
and and so I felt like it was a good mix of like new and middle and older and like all these people coming together that like could feed off of each other and learn from each other, um and I learned a lot too. Like you, man, that was a crash course, I tell you. And doing the last 4 years has been a crash course of getting it right and perfecting it and trying to make it, like that first one. Because they definitely, that one showed, I think 100 people showed up to that. It like sold
Mhm.
out. And um which was awesome, so it's pretty cool to kind of see that too how shy you were in that realm and in that that theater, and then to see you now and the videos you do now, and you're just like, fuck yeah, man, I'm at Pride and I don't give a shit, like
No, for real.
it was
Belting out
so
Shaky
amazing.
Graves at 3 o'clock p.m. on the hottest day of June.
Yeah,
Just not giving two shits.
yeah, no, not at all. It was amazing, and that's a big stage too. Like that's a fairly big stage of people, going from like
Oh
a
yeah.
theater to like what was it, 1,000 people or something sitting there.
I think so, and that was one of the I got heart palpitations on stage that day. That was quite literally one of the scariest shows I've ever done.
I know. I remember your text. I was like, go, Xander," and you were like, "I'm fucking scared."
I'm pretty sure I texted you afterwards and I was like, I don't think I can perform
I don't think I
anymore. But
did
then I
great.
still
Yeah.
went on stage the next year and did the same thing all over again.
I want to do it again, but I'm kind of scared.
Like, I don't know, parts of it were fun, but I'm too scared.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I know, a lot of people didn't come here to hear us reminisce, but it's a huge deal because it's so much like uh an a celebration, of not just like us being friends that long, but also just a celebration of like our craft still being something we love truly and making it better each year and making and growing with it. And so I just think it's just so fun to like sit on the show with you again and banter about it all and look back and be like, fuck, we came a really long way for the two of us.
I was freshly 19 when I did that
I
North Bend
know.
show with you, like,
I
and now
know.
I'm 23. I dropped another album, and now I'm dropping another album soon. Like,
Yeah, it's just
dropping another single next week. I almost said year next week. It's next week now.
yeah, and just being able to like reflect on so much of the like back then we I had just started, so Xander was like, I think you were like one of the first five is what I remember, I think. And
Yes, I believe I was literally either number four or number five.
yeah, one of the two, yeah. And I just was like I was not sure how I was going to go about it. And it was those are when that was back when I was doing it in person before I started on IG Live, because 2020 forced us to do it online. And so, and I just stuck with that. But back then I was driving places and doing the interviews myself and splicing them all together, and you know uh taking hours to put them together. And it was interesting because I can hear between then and now, I can hear the difference too, of like different questions and different way of going about it now, and being
Yeah.
more seasons in it now, having done, like, I have the hiccups, I'm sorry, people. Um, having done, like, I'm so excited. There you go. Um, having done like 500 interviews or something later now, it's like, wow. I also look back and go, fuck, I've grown a lot. I don't have a book in front of me anymore, you know? So, like,
No, for real. I remember those days too. I had to take notes from that too because I'm like I don't know what to do in front of a camera, and I'm still not the
yeah,
best with questions. So I literally every time you had me fill in for you, I'd be like, what am I supposed to ask? Like what? Because I just my brain shuts off when I'm asked questions.
right.
I just kind of say shit at this point, and then I'm like, well, now I have to be the one that asks the questions. This isn't fun anymore. Like I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Kara, help you know what to do.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, I regret my decision in doing this.
It was fun though. I got to know wonderful, wonderful people in that span of time.
Yeah, it was good. It was an educational experience too for me, because it taught me that I can kind of release some of the control and not have to, like, solely be on my shoulders all the time. So it was like a good learning experience. And I went back. I've been like taking all those and uh, reposting them to YouTube, and and going back and like seeing them, and I'm like, damn, man, like, we had a lot of people on that year. It was so many people. It was like
2020 was so much.
so many people. And I was doing it like every single day except for Sunday. And now I do it only on Sunday, which is the irony, you know?
Subtle foreshadowing, you know?
100%. 100%. So yeah, it's just so cool to be able to sit here and have us both like be in a different space in our lives, and you
Mhm.
know um and having come to this point of like we're kind of secure in who we are now in this, and like in both of our retrospective areas of it,
Mhm.
and the support of either person. And so it's just cool to kind of feel very on high, with it all.
Yeah.
um but to go back to why we were actually here today, um, is Xander's putting out, like he said, he's putting out a song. And so I'm excited for this one, honestly. I feel like it just sounds cool. This song reminds me of, did you ever hear the song by Will Smith called Wild Wild West?
Yes, that's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. I used to know the entire rap growing up. I had a DVD collection that was Will Smith's greatest video collection or something like that. And so I had the
And
music video growing up on a DVD, and I was so obsessed with that music video growing up. It was so good.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing. I love it. I love it too. That one and the MIB theme are like some jams,
just the
just so you
two of
know.
us as well. Come
Yeah,
on.
you
He
made
had
it.
the hits back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Miami.
Miami. Yep. I
Welcome to
know. Just the two
Miami.
of us is a slap. Like that song. Every time I hear that, and I'm just like,
It brings a tear to my eye every single
yeah,
time.
every time, like, oh, so good. But so with Wild Wild West going into this one, like, can you give us kind of an idea how you came to it, and like, all the good stuff about it?
Wild Wild West is actually probably the most interesting of all of the songs that I've ever done because it's the first song that I've ever written to the beat. I just got bored one day and I produced an entire instrumental, like what you hear minus the electric guitar in the final version. is what I had. And then I
Wow.
just kind of like mapped out this whole song in my head. But it
Yeah,
does have a much deeper meaning. It's more so about like a situationship I was in. There was a lot of problems there. And one thing about this whole album that I'm stepping into this new era is I've kind of built my own universe out of this new album. And it's kind of a way to say like the Wild Wild West is not an actual geographical point that I'm
yeah,
singing on. It is my own universe. It is my own the universe of my mind. And
yes,
essentially the whole bottom line of the song is you would not last a day in my universe. We don't welcome your energy here. And you can have your energy in a whole different land, far, far away from mine. But
yeah,
it's not welcome here. And that was kind of a vengeful way of writing, but
yeah,
it works. And I think it's one of my most favorite songs I've ever produced. I love so much about like the lyrics, the vocals. I go crazy on the vocals towards the end. There's a sickening
good.
guitar solo on it. Like I've got so much
Did you
going
do
on with
the
this one
guitar
song.
solo?
I did not actually.
Oh,
So
okay.
Neil Northrop, who did the guitar on intro and if you want something done right for the Red album, I just keep calling him back. I'm like, hey, I have a new
Yeah.
assignment for you. Here you go. Have fun with it. And within a couple months, he gets back to me and he's like, hey, I forgot. When is that due again? And I'm like, in a couple
Typical
months. And
musician.
well, yeah, and I honestly I have so much grace and patience because you know me, I'm gonna take my sweet fucking time doing
Yeah,
anything ever. So I'm like, there's no rush for me, there's no rush for you, buddy. Like you
yeah,
take all the time you need. He's been so cool and so good at what he does. I've never had to ask him to redo anything ever. He's so
amazing.
good at what he does. And
Yeah,
so I had him hop on the electric guitar. He does a sickening solo while I'm just wailing my
yeah,
fucking vocal cords out my throat,
yeah,
and it is easily one of my favorite songs I've ever made.
yeah. I'm so excited to hear the production. I can't wait. Like that just sounds
It's
so cool and so fun.
it's so I don't know a word to describe it, but it's like Pink Floyd, The Flaming Lips, a little bit of Lana Del Rey, even. Like there's so much I feel like it's like the Thanos of my music. It's like
Yeah,
where all of my inspirations meet in one place.
yeah.
That's this one song.
Wow. I'm excited. That sounds so fun. I'm excited to hear it. Do you think you could like acoustically play it for us now if I put you
Oh
on the
god.
spot?
Do I have the chords to it is the question. I could honestly I could even just play you the song a little bit. I could play a little snippet if that's okay.
That's cool.
I would sing it. I just honestly cannot remember any of the chords, which is really embarrassing considering I wrote it, but you
Hey,
know,
if you're a musician, you know, I've seen that more times than even famous musicians don't even remember. I went to Hanson and they forgot a couple of the lines of their most famous song. I was like,
oh,
all right, so even they do it, 20
the
years
last
later.
show I did, the last show I did, I forgot the lyrics to half of the songs. I forgot the chords to the second song in, had to restart the same song from line one because I fucked up the lyrics. I'm a mess, but I'm an honest one at that.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right, I do have the song on deck. I'll play like the first minute of it. How
Okay,
about that?
sounds good.
Okay. You hear that all right?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That's the first minute of Wild Wild West.
I love it. It's so
Easily,
melodic. Oh.
no, it's gorgeous. I love everything we did with this song, and it's like one of my favorite production elements that I've been playing around with how I pan my vocals and
Mhm.
how I present my vocals in every song. Because again, I can't do the same thing twice. I have to make this like a whole different realm from the Red album. Um, Throughout the song, like verse to chorus,
Mm,
the lead vocal gets more and more distorted throughout the whole song. And so
that's
by the
cool.
end, it's just like the whole
Yeah.
time. It's so good.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear the whole thing. I love it
It's
already.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's out in 5 days, so I'm deeply looking
Guys,
forward to it.
5 days. Let's I feel like people could probably beat the Red album and get like 200,000 just on the
Like,
song
come
alone.
on, guys. It's just one song. We
We
can
can
do
do
this. If you can commit to a 53-minute album, you can commit to a 4.5 minute song.
it.
That's all I
Right?
gotta say.
Facts on facts. That is
Like,
right.
come on, guys. Let's get it
Let's
together.
go.
Come
Come
on.
on. Well, it's always fun to have you on, Zan. I'm so excited for your song, and gosh, I can't wait to hear it because it sounds so good already. But everybody, please go follow him. Can you tell them your socials and stuff and where to find them?
All right, I am Xander Corbett on Instagram, just Xander, no spaces, no nothing. You can find me on Facebook, anywhere on YouTube. Do not go anywhere near my Twitter, please and thank you. Um, I think that's about it. I'm Xander Corbett on all streaming platforms. Wild Wild West comes out on Friday, September 19th, and it's gonna be out everywhere. So anywhere you find your music, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, whatever the fuck that is, feel free
Right?
to. I learn about things through my distributor that I don't know if I'm supposed to know, but
Yeah.
Deezer exists apparently. Title, that's one
Yeah.
as well.
I that's interesting you bring that up because I just heard that for the first time last week and I was like, "What is that?" And everybody's like, "Oh, that's a thing." And I'm like, "When? I've been around a minute." Like, where did
No,
that come
like these things just keep popping up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna learn to embrace it all and not ask any questions, because the less I know, the better.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's a good theory, actually. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please go support Xander in all his endeavors. And not just this song. Go back and listen to the Red album because it's fucking phenomenal.
Oh,
And
do it.
oh, it's the greatest. And I have it on my show, and then Xander's got it, out there in the interwebs of being able to stream. So, yeah, and so just go and give him lots of love because he deserves it. If you guys
Thank you so
want to
much.
comment and share, and maybe say something to Xander, you're more than welcome to do that, or you can go to his socials and talk to him. He's pretty open about talking to people, so. Um,
Hit my
yeah,
DMs
you
up.
let
I'm
us know how you
single.
feel about it. So, anyway, thanks everybody. We appreciate your time here on a Sunday. We'll see you next week with another amazing artist, and have a great day, everybody.
Happy
Bye.
Sunday.
See you later.